Finocchio sees me one day during the daytime. I forgot why we had to go there. And he says, boy, you know Rossano Brasi, the Italian tenor. When he sings Some Enchanted Evening, he puts more strength in his voice. I said, well, Mr. Finocchio, Rossano Brasi is a male tenor, and he's doing a male voice. I cannot come out singing Some Enchanted Evening as a female. No, but you should do like Rossano Brasi. So he telling me how to do Rossano Brasi. So now another time, there's Mr. Finocchio. A story about Mr. Finocchio. The great Lucian, who was the male Sophie Tucker of the show for many years. He was the star before Laverne became the star. He wore actually the costumes that he got either for free or he bought from the real Sophie Tucker. At one time, Lucian, who was a health freak, he would drink only cranberry juice, he would walk in the morning, he ate very good food, he didn't smoke, he didn't drink. And of all things, he gets cancer of the liver. And now a man who was stout, like Sophie Tucker, becomes very, very thin, and he couldn't work. So one day he comes to the club with his wife, and Carvalho said, oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have here the great Lucian, who was the star for many years of Finocchio's, and he introduced him. And Mr. Finocchio, I didn't know the side of him, says to Carvalho, Carol, how can you do this to me and to my club? How can you introduce a man who is dying on the audience here to introduce him? And Carvalho says, well, Mr. Finocchio, he was the star for many years. Don't you think he should earn that? No, this is not good. This is not good. I said to myself, is this the Italian warmth? I said, I know I must say good things about people. They paid on time, always. The checks never bounced. They were not against a person being black or white or Filipino or Cuban. They gave a chance to everybody of different nationalities. They were not homophobic people, obviously, to have a gay show, most of them. But some of the things that Mrs. Finocchio or Joe Finocchio did, an example, one day I was off that night, and I come in, and Mr. Finocchio is behind the cash register on Saturday. Nobody would know that the owner of the club takes the money. And I said to her, she was very quiet because the best were not performing, they were off. And I said, are you in a good mood, Mrs. Finocchio? He said, I'm always in a good mood. I said, oh. I said, well, can I do an impersonation of you? She said, oh yes, please. She sounded like a little girl, please do. I said, when a guy comes to apply for a job here, you never say, do you sing, do you dance, do you do comedy? The first thing you say is, and she looked at me, may I see your legs? I said, really? I do that? I said, yes, you do. Now she changes from a little girl to a very cold facade. And she says to me, do you see Carol Wallace there? And here comes the charming David de Alba, and warm. I said, yes. She says, would you like to replace him? I said, excuse me? Would you like to replace him? Yes or no? Now my heart says, oh yes, I would like to replace him, but my other heart says, no, he's my friend, how can I replace him? So I said, stupidly, and I'll tell you why I say stupidly, but Miss Finocchio Caruana is wonderful MC. Okay, never mind. Next day, Carol was gone, and she hired a real woman, which they never had a female MC by the name of Sofia Petrikis, a Greek woman. She's a very nice woman. She sang, but when she came on stage and she said, I'm the only woman in the show, nobody believed her because she looked just as good as any other boy in drag. So it didn't do any, it was not a change. So I said to Carol, what happened? She said, you're foolish. You should have said yes. I said, oh yes. If I told Mrs. Finocchio I take Carol Wallace's job, you would have told me, how can you do that to a friend? She said, oh no, I know better than that. So after that, Mrs. Finocchio would call Carol once in a while to do guest spots. But that was the attitude, which you like to so this is a thing that sometimes you feel like in an earthquake in that place. You don't know which way.
Hello everybody, my name is David de Alba. the Cuban legend from Finocchio's in San Francisco, asking you to please check out my theatrical Facebook page and also join my YouTube channel, subscribe, and please hit the likes. It is much appreciated. God bless.